What is up, guys? So this is going to be the final episode of the Cockerel Chronicles, and I've got to be honest, it's been absolutely hilarious. Some of the banter in the comment section, it's been emotional. We've had a good laugh, haven't we? But next up, I'm going to be doing something I think a bit more serious, maybe the Troy Kell story or even Paul Sykes. I'm not too sure yet, but this is the last one from the Cockerel. Just a quick recap. The last episode, Brian was talking about murders, attempt murders, killing coppers, getting chased by the SAS because his hands are classed as deadly weapons. But luckily, his mate was ex-SAS, so they got away. He used his F1 rally driving skills to get away. But eventually they caught up with him. He was hiding in the back garden with his predator cloak activated, so they couldn't find him. And eventually they did find him, and they surrounded his house, the SAS in ninja suits, and they was all banging the shields. We will break your jaw. And then Brian jumped out and shouted, "I'm Spartacus!" and activated his rocket ship and flew away. So yeah, let's get into it.
You got a bit of a coat hanger and then step out when they heated it.
Oh, he's talking about washing up coke. If you're unaware, crack is just washed up coke. It just makes it into a little rock what you can smoke.
It sticks to the metal. Took it off, and then I'll go that, and then I went, fucking hell, it was like beam me up Spock, you know what I mean? So
Beam me up. Well, I thought it was beam me up Scotty, right? I don't know, I'm not a trekkie.
my head on it, so anyway, Lee Duffy was started, then I thought he's going to fucking start. I was a bit paranoid.
Oh, mate, there's nothing worse than that. I've been there, where you and your mates are sat smoking crack, and one of them starts, shh, don't move, don't say out. And then they'll be like looking out the window and looking out the curtains, and then they'll start looking around on the floor for little bits. It's a nightmare. Especially imagine if it was with Lee Duffy. I can imagine that can't be fun.
I thought, I'm a bit cabbaged here. And he went, Brian, show him how fast you are. Go on, get on the pads. So he took me on the pads.
It always boomerangs back to how hard Brian is, doesn't it? Show us. Now, I'm going to hazard a guess here and say that that's not what he said. He probably said something like, come on, let's get the pads out. But in Brian's mind, what he said was, come on, Brian, show us how fast you are. Show us your defying speed and power that defies the laws of physics.
That and I went, fucking hell, it was like beam me up Spock, you know what I mean? So off my head on it, so anyway, Lee Duffy was started, then I thought he's going to fucking start. I was a bit paranoid then. I thought, I'm a bit cabbaged here. And he went, Brian, show him how fast you are. Go on, get on the pads. So he took me on the pads. And when you punch with light hands. You don't try to punch like you bench 500 pounds because you've got...
What? Benching 500 pounds?
You've got to be, you feel light. My best fight when I was 20 stone 10. When I was 22, 23, I was too heavy. I was out of breath. Too quick.
Yeah, when you see him, he was too big. He was too strong. And you see him, I saw one video, and all he did was like lay on the floor. And when he stood back up, he was blowing out his ass. He was out of breath.
Well, it was good. So 2010 was probably perfect. It's like Mike Tyson when he was 20. He was 15-7 when he went into 50.
How does he know everybody? How does he know everybody's height and weight and occupation? It's like, does he just write them down? Or is it that genius level intelligence? He might have one of those photographic memories. Yeah, that's probably it.
10, he wasn't as fast, so that extra few pounds does slow you down. So anyway, I was on the pads and anyway, trained Millie and that anyway. Then we went out.
See, he's downloading information now. He can't, his mouth can't keep up with his brain can't keep up with all the bullshit out.
We were on the crack and we were on the pads and that, and then I thought he's going to throw a slide punch here. I thought, fuck it. But if he does, he does. He didn't. He give me a big cuddle. He was off his head and he went, you know, that day he said, you beat me. He said, for 6 weeks I couldn't sleep properly. He said, my head was battered. Knowing that somebody was better than me, he said, there's not a man in this area who can beat you. Not a man in this country. I don't think anyone can beat you, mate. He said,
fucking hell, he's the hardest man in the world. Not one man in the world can beat Brian. But the reality is, an area level trained heavyweight would absolutely blather him. And probably those, is it jiu-jitsu? Those guys now, someone like Nate Diaz would twist up Brian and just break his arm, break his leg. There's a fuck all you could do, especially with those jiu-jitsu guys. But Brian thinks he's the hardest man in the world. That's next level delusions.
and sleep properly. He said my head was battered, knowing that somebody was better than me. He said, there's not a man in this area who can beat you, not a man in this country. I don't think anyone can beat you, mate. He said, you've got, the word he come out with is, you've got hideous strength. He said, when we went to the gym, he was benching £300, I was benching 630.
Fucking benching £630, that's ridiculous. That's like 4 Dr. Rackpulls, that's like 2 JDPs. That's like one of Rubberface's balls. Because he's a virgin.
But in 250, I was doing 8 over 800.
So there was a respect there.
What?
Yeah, he said.
800?
Strength, he said.
So he's just claimed that he's benching £630 over 800 reps. And not even Eddie Hall could do that, and he's the strongest man in the world. £600. £630 is a lot. Have you seen my £600 life? That's like that's like bench pressing Stephen Asante.
To the gym, he was benching £300, I was benching 630. He was squatting 250, I was doing 8 over 800.
So there was a
Squatting, that's probably why your back's knackered. That's probably why you're in a wheelchair now, or you can't get about. He's somewhat disabled now because he's had all the back problems from squatting. I don't think he was squatting £800, but you know, he's obviously he can squat a lot of weight.
He said, fucking hell, he's just, I've done this in all these gyms, I've done it in the prisons and everything.
Oh, is this where he breaks the record? This is brilliant. We've got to get a rewind on this one. This is one of my favourite Bullshit O'Brien stories.
He was squatting 250, I was doing 8 over 800.
So there was a respect there.
He said, fucking hell, he's just, I've done this in all these gyms, I've done it in the prisons and everything. I've done 850 kilo leg pressing, home house that's on the wall. I've done 2,000 pound leg press in other gyms. I brought the weights at the benches and things in gyms. So I just had this, like Samson, one of my other films, like that type of strength. I just had it.
He had Samson strength. He's bench pressed over £2,000 or leg pressed £2,000 in all the jails. But he's only ever done 3 months. So did he get shipped out every day?
When I was 22, I could bench £500, and I was with no steroids or nothing, so it was just phenomenally strong.
Because you went off the radar, Brian, what was that, because the drugs were taking its toll?
Yeah. All it was is, it's like pop stars. It's like,
but you get, see, after the...
You know, like the Katie Prices and all them, and they get up right at the top, and they're doing top films, all of a sudden they come down a little bit, and it's not as good, and people, and they're trying to chase, like, I done a documentary with McIntyre.
Did that shoot you into a bit of, like, stardom?
Yeah.
Glorified?
Yeah, I don't think he's like Katie Price level famous, but maybe more like infamous, but he is quite popular due to these amazing stories.
Of gangs, stuff.
Yeah, which is not good, because I don't want kids to emulate me. I want kids to emulate me training. I want kids to emulate me looking after people. The thing.
Yeah, but spoiler alert: just before he got banned from doing podcasts for stalking Jamie Boyle, you know, he was in a back and forth with what's his name? I can't remember. Ernie Elwood, is it? And he was like sending people to his house and threatening him, and it's just the same old Brian. He's just not capable anymore of breaking people's jaws.
Well, another thing we've lost
because he got
respect. I think the most important thing in life is, it doesn't matter if you're black, you're green, you're white, you're pink, you're yellow, whatever religion you are. It doesn't matter what you are. It's what the person you are. It's how you come across, what your persona.
Yeah, you know, kicking doors in and kidnapping people and ramming police off the roads. He's really just a nice guy.
Because I know we're talking about...
chopping people's toes up with bolt croppers.
But we'll touch on the future and the stuff that you're doing now, which people will be shocked with.
Yeah.
But there was a vote, I don't know how this came about, but there was a vote that you were the 6th most feared man in the world.
What?
6th most feared man in the world. Who was voting on that? JDP and fucking Andy Smith. Fucking hell, 6th most scariest man in the world. Do you know, there's people, like gang members, that execute entire families. And he thinks that he's just, it's just unbelievable.
Steve Richards, who's a prolific author, he'd interviewed people, all mafia, top lads, all he said, I would say I wasn't saying it was the 6th hardest man in the world, but he was trying to say there's probably 5 more people like you on the planet could have done what you've done.
Wow. only 5 more people on the planet that can go around breaking people's jaws and waffling fairy tales.
And McIntyre said the same. He said, how you've lived all these years, what you've done, and the times with guns pointing at you and everything is just unbelievable. He said,
That's the key word, unbelievable.
we know it's true, but somebody written it
there's
in the
no
book.
way he said that. No way. Let's just explore that, shall we? Brian says he's got an F1 rally driver license, right? He said they asked him to wrestle with the Bulldogs. They asked him to play for the Miami Dolphins when he's never even played American football. He's never even been to America. He says that the police class his hands as deadly weapons. He says that the SAS chase him instead of the police. And he thinks that this is the truth. It's not. It's not. That is delusion.
They think it was made up, but we don't show. Obviously, it's in the papers and everything. What's happened to
How
you?
much money do you think you've spent?
Millions.
Millions. And they're all packed into a fucking old Datsun.
Millions and millions.
Although you do spend a lot of money on crack. I've fucking spent loads of money on it.
Yeah, millions. I'm not bullshitting you. Honest. I took 250 grand in 1 week off them when I took went to these 3 lads. They were blabbermouths that you won't do this, you won't do that. So I found out where they lived, where they'd done, what dogs they had, where they lived, all the stuff that.
How much they weighed, how tall they were, if they were top fighting men.
I said, right, I want 20 grand off you, so they went.
See, again, 20 grand. Just bullying, taxing people for money. We don't even know. But he's trying to tell us he's not a bully and it's about the person you are, not what you've done. That somebody's got to stand that 20 grand, what he's took. Somebody's probably going to get their head smashed in. Someone's going to probably have to work that debt off. You know what I mean? That's not a nice guy.
20 grand each, but really I only wanted 20 grand off them. But he opened the door for me.
That's just 20 grand each. That's a lot of money.
My IQ's 134, so I thought, of course.
His IQ's 134. Now that's just not true.
20 grand each, but really I only wanted 20 grand off them. But he opened the door for me. And my IQ's 134, so I thought, of course.
I wonder who did the test with him. It must be that JDP again. He's bound by the Bullshido code.
20 grand each. You don't think I want 20 grand for the 3 years? So anyway, they were 2 days later, a day later, so I charged him an extra 10 grand for being late with the money.
Oh, there you go. Nice guy. I think that's probably where Brett May's got all his... he's probably who he inspires to be. He's in for blackmail now, isn't he? There's a video of him getting money by Menace, saying he's going to slash him and all that. Actually, I was talking to someone the other day who knows Brett really well, and they owed him money, so Brett kidnapped him and kept him in a dog cage for 3 days. Fucking mental, that.
And they met me, and they gave me, he said, we've got a problem. He said, 20 grand of it, Scottish money, as you know, Scottish money, £200 notes, the little red ones, so they give me 20 grand. I went, okay, that'll do me, pal, because it was, Scottish £100.
Look how happy he is, boasting about it. Fuck, man, I'm ashamed that I used to shoplift.
Yeah, so
was there a lot of people using you as well because of your name?
Of course,
you had money.
Of course. People, I used to have
all the hanger-ons.
60 people a day at the door.
Yeah, he had money. He's got the looks, iron jaw, speed and power, genius level IQ, F1 rally drive.
Going what it is, I need to get the money for the insurance and that, and I'd see kids in the streets and give them 10 quids and just kids at the bus stops and got out where he's going, lads. Well,
he's just such a nice man, isn't he? All the money that is stolen off somebody else, he just gives it away.
We'd go nowhere, we'd do this way, there's 20 quid each or something like just.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood,
with his merry men. Robin Hood, he will break your jaw.
Nice to be nice to, but that people come and phone calls all the time. But we went in the crack. I'd lend people 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, and then you'd say, "Can you do us a favour?" And still, I haven't got a penny bribe. I thought, I'm going to do 20 grand, and everyone asked for the money back. So, like you said, when you're at rock bottom,
there's no way he lent someone 20 grand and didn't ask for it back. No way.
Your fucking friends are.
Yeah.
The
fucking friends. Yeah.
The only friend I have is my sister, Catherine. I was just top.
Family's always going to be there.
She's my brother Jamie, my mum, my dad, and my brother Bobby. They were probably the only people that were around me. That was it, you know.
It's strange that, because history has a strange way of repeating itself, because now it's just him and his missus.
Was rock bottom for you?
Well, when my girlfriend left me after 17.5 years, when I was making with a saying, this is a saying, when money goes out the window, love goes with it. But she was all right when I was making 10s and 20 grands and coming home. I'll come home with 70 grand and throw it on the bed one night and things like that, and taking it abroad all over and buying this and £300 handbags and all that type of stuff. And she thinks she was one of the Kardashians, you know what I mean? But when the money went out the window, she went. So she went after 17.5 years, gone. And then my dog died, and...
Oh, his dog, it was the most vicious dog in the world, 14 stone.
Brother hanged himself. It was just a nightmare, mate. From 2006, it was just, they got that bad, you know. So just, well, can I get 200 quid for a night? And I'll get a night, and I'll get a bottle of pop and do this and do that.
Was that when the drugs were at the heaviest?
I used to say, here's a funny analogy of what I said. I said, I taxed £20,000. And I spent £19,500 on drugs and wasted £500 on messages.
Yeah. I think though, because you
rewind for Brian's laugh. Go on, Brian.
On messages.
Go on, Brian. Here's another laugh.
Do you think though, because you're hot rock bottom, did your reputation kind of
sounds like Ace Ventura?
Tax people then, or did you realise?
Alrighty then.
I was taxing about, didn't give a fuck. I thought I was even more.
Was that just that's your habit?
Yeah, habit, exactly. That's another thing when you start selling drugs. You start selling them in your big chocolate-orange cars and all that stuff. And I mean, it looks great.
Yeah, we've seen your car, mate.
You've got the police bugging
you and Vulture and that, like, innit?
You're getting followed. People are trying to shoot you. You can't. You're looking out the windows. Then when you're selling the drug, yeah, I'll have a bit more, and then you end up being addicted to it. So yeah.
That crack is lethal, mate. Absolutely lethal. You could have, I mean, I've had grafts for like £2,000 and just smoked a lot on crack. Buying it, it's making me sick. I've had that much and I'm still buying it. That's mental. You're paying to make yourself sick.
You're only selling it to supply yourself with it, you know.
So for the last 10 years, Brian, you were obviously at your most vulnerable because the drugs would really take its toll. Why did nobody try and take your life then? Because
well, I had a fight with a lad. 2011, I think it was. I went down because people asked me who's your heroes. George Best, Muhammad Ali, Rocky Marciano. I said, yeah, they're fantastic. My heroes are the servicemen and women who have given their lives.
He's so fucking cliche, isn't he? He's seen that on telly. Fuck it up.
This country over in Afghanistan and Iraq are playing.
Cringe.
I know, fighting for our freedom and liberty. They're the real heroes. Doctors and nurses, policemen, even saving people's lives. Firemen, things like that. They're the real heroes, you know. But
the policemen will probably be watching us and going, "You lying bastards!"
Yeah, you spent your whole life terrorising him.
You can't call all policemen because if your house on fire and you've got your kids in there, they'll still go in the house and save your kids. So they're not all bad. Yeah. You know, you don't.
It's like any job, Brian. There's good or bad.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I mean, there was a local Bobby around here once, and he came and said, "Brian, there's 17 houses have been burgled." I said, "Leave it with me." Within about 3 hours, I got everything back from every house. And I said, "Go to this garage, all the stuff will be there in the car."
It's probably him what nicked it all.
Everything like that. Can't tell you what's only how to do, mate. And then another old woman got robbed her house, all the stuff. I got all their stuff back. But you don't hear about the good things you do. You hear about the people regurgitate. He's a cunt, he's a bastard, he's shot him, he's killed him.
He's shot him, so he's actually killed people.
Do you have any murders or anything? Just fucking...
hearsay?
Yeah, just hearsay. He said, she said, he said. It just goes on forever. But someone, Duffy, said to me, when they're good at talking good about you, you're all right. But when they're good at talking bad about you, then you're in trouble. If they're bad at talking bad about you, it doesn't really matter because they're full of shit anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So, what would...
Apparently he only knew Lee Duffy for like 3 weeks or something.
Catalyst then for you to change your life and open your eyes and go, I'm not going to leave my legacy like this. I'm not going to die this way.
I just, when I started listening to a man called Joe Dispenza, when you were talking earlier about him, couldn't believe that you come up with his name because he's fantastic. And he says, that you got to change the process.
It's getting boring now, isn't it?
Concentrate on them.
Want to hear some more bullshit out.
So that's what the philosophy. So I started realising that the concepts, obviously, I thought so. Don't. When I've gone to people's houses, pictures and photographs to be on the Facebook when I'm sitting with little babies and going on people's houses and saying, "Oh, you can do this. If I can do, you can do it." And
so Brian, he's an inspirational speaker now when he's not like terrorising tinfoil and slagging him off and sending people to his house. He's a motivational speaker.
It's crackheaded the world. I said, "No, don't believe me. I know about drugs, and it's a bit of a joke." But I said, "But once you're in that, once you," and Oscar Wilde says, "Once you hit rock bottom, you can't hit any further. You've got to come up."
That's true. I've been there many times. I'm going to tell you one of my rock bottoms. I'm going to finish on this because he's getting a bit boring now, isn't he? Yeah, my rock bottom was when I was a heroin addict. I was homeless and I was walking to the place where I used to stay. I used to live in an abandoned psych ward with all the smashed windows and all the beds were still in there. All the padded rooms, it fucking stunk as well. A real horrible, nasty, like an old people's home, but 50 times worse. And I was on the way back there. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd just been to score and it started raining, throwing it down like a tropical thunderstorm. And I was soaking wet within like 10 seconds. And I've got to get out of this. So I jumped over a fence, went into an old outhouse in somebody's back garden, just crashed on the floor. I woke up the next morning soaking wet in an old outside toilet with cobwebs. Oh, it was horrible. And I had my face in the dirt and there was a slug crawling next to my fucking face. And I thought, wow, don't get much lower than that.
You can die, so
that's what you've done. Listen, mate, I'm going to shake your hand for that because fair play to you, big man. No matter what you've went through, and I always say it nearly every podcast, people can change. Of course. Your prime example, lying,
I agree, but
full of crack.
It's the same old dude. He's threatening people online. He just can't back it up now.
Hating the world because
and
the
I'm
shit
not
that
trying
you've been
to
through, the shit you've been involved.
Have a go at Brian about, but I've got to say it as it is. If he had changed his life and he was out there like doing the things what he says he's doing, then I'd applaud that. It's just not the case.
PTSD, mental factor. Yourself for moving on. Then now that your head's clear, you get
go to the doctors, get your heart checked out,
because you want to go and speak in prisons and stuff now.
Yeah, well, I'm doing one in the school on Thursday. But naughty kids who've been.
See, that'd be a good gig for Bry, I reckon. But you know, he's got himself. He did have a good podcast at one point. He had Phil Taylor on there. You never see him do podcasts. Savannah Marshall, world boxing champ. He had some really good guests, and he was flying. But then he had this whole thing with tinfoil, and it's just ruined him. He literally lost his mind, and now he's become a little bit of a laughing stock, really. He's had to get rid of his channel because he got arrested for stalking. And it's a bit of a tragic downfall. Apparently got caught with a gun and some drugs in a bag in his house. And his missus is always arguing with people online with Humble Dryer and the Riddler and fucking Egg Chapo. Just fucking mental. So yeah, a tragic tale of the cockerel, of the taxman. But anyway, yeah, that's the last one from the taxman. He has done one with Sean Atwood, which I might do that a bit further down the road, but the next one's going to be a more serious video. So if you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Bonjour.